What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Ridge, back for another week of NBA betting here, presented by Pinnacle Sportsbook, your trusted sportsbook for 25 years. We went 2-1 last week, and let me just tell you, the Detroit Pistons, they're dead to me. I don't know what else to say. I'm watching these games, and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with the Pistons. They're just undisciplined, man. 30 fouls in back-to-back games. Like, you could call it a blimp on the radar in one game, but when you're doing that in multiple games, it's a problem. It's why they're not covering spreads, and it's one of the reasons why they're not going to be in my picks today, even though, once again, my data likes them, but we are not taking the Pistons. But if they do cover, you heard it here first. But there is a full slate in the NBA. I am recording this late on Tuesday night, so make sure you double check injury reports and feel free to comment on YouTube or on Twitter. Tag me in there if you do want my updated thoughts if things do change, because there is a few players we are going to be watching, but make sure you double check the injury reports and make sure you double check the lines, because they may move a little bit from the time that I record this show. But let's dive into it, because we have a full slate of NBA action, or pretty close to it, and more importantly, NBA is off this Tuesday, so no back-to-backs, no concerns there, and lots of great NBA action on a Wednesday. So let's dive into it all right now. All right, so as you can see, massive slate in the NBA, but let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the picks. One of the picks I was looking at is this Boston Celtics Philadelphia 76ers play, and looking at the over the total points at 227. Phenomenal play for multiple reasons. I believe that getting rid of James Harden allows this team to play more free, play with a ton of pace, and match the energy that we're going to get from this Boston Celtics team that we know can put up a ton of points. If you want some data as to why I like this play even further, look at the Boston Celtics here. 5-1 at hitting overs this season. Look at that number. 5-1. Philadelphia 4-2. Average margin they're going over 6.8. 9.3. So both these teams are hitting their overs, scoring a ton of points, and doing it regularly. Put them both together, and we have a perfect recipe for an over. So really like this number at 227. It is moving slightly to the over right now. I think when you look at where I would probably make the cutoff, I'd say right around 229. Maybe if you're feeling bold, 229.5, but I wouldn't go any higher than that. Basically, what we're looking at is I do think this 1.5 spread indicates a very close game between both these teams. I personally think Boston will win, but it's a 2-point spread right now, 1.5 depending on where you're looking. So it's going to be close. One possession should be close. And I think more importantly, I trust the Celtics to put up a lot of points and force the Sixers to play up tempo and keep up. Vegas hasn't quite adjusted to how these teams are playing quite yet. And I mean, you've seen some of the lofty totals that both these teams have put up. I think that 227 is a great number. As I mentioned, up to 228.5, 229, do like it. When you're getting higher than that, you're getting pretty close to my threshold of an edge. I think 227, if you can get it, is a great number. But obviously, make sure you do monitor this line, see where it changes. It probably continues to rise just a little bit. So let's go back now to our full slate and get into our next game, because this may just be the over show, because I also like the over in the Los Angeles Clippers and Brooklyn Nets game as well. 228 right now. This number opened low. I believe it opened 226, 226.5, depending on where you're looking. On Pinnacle, as you can see right now, 228. I like it up to about 229.5. That's getting very close to where I would say, okay, we've had enough here, a lot of movement. But the big point when you're looking at both these teams, as you can see, kind of the same type of trends. Brooklyn 5-2 towards the over, but the big sticking point here is they play much better at home. 3-0 on the season going over. And when you look at the Clippers as well, 1-1, so not anything crazy, but I love Brooklyn at home. They push the pace. They play much better. There's not a ton of superstar talent, but Cam Thomas, Mikal Bridges, like these guys can put up points and are playing much better at home. So I really like Brooklyn to put up points and keep this game very close against the Clippers team that has a ton of stars, but how many points are they realistically going to put up? Of course, you could call it a James Harden revenge game, so we'll see how he plays in this matchup, but I think this all points towards an over for me right now. You can see a 4-point spread favored to the Clippers. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than that. You know, I do lean Brooklyn just a little bit. It's not an official play, but the lean right now is towards Brooklyn. I think when you look at how this Brooklyn team is playing at home right now, you see the margin in which they're going over at plus 13.5, which is literally one of the best on the board. I think it's a phenomenal spot. I really like Brooklyn in this game. If you wanted to go team total, I don't hate that either. But for me, it's the Nets. Love the Nets. I think they're in a great spot. Give me the over 228. Like I mentioned, the cutoff for me is about 229.5. I think that's about where I would leave it. When you get above 230, I think that's when I'd probably stay away. But at 228, while it's still available, really, really like that number. And last but not least, let's scroll down towards the bottom of the board because we have to look at this Lakers versus Rockets matchup. The Rockets are on a tear right now. For anyone who's not paying attention to what the Rockets are doing, let me just pull it up for you and really show you just how well they're playing. It's a very interesting spot for both these teams. There's no back-to-backs, as I already mentioned, but Houston is in the middle of a massive home stretch. They've been at home since October when they lost to Golden State, but they've won 3 straight against Charlotte. And then Sacramento, they blew them out 2 games in a row. And now they play the Lakers at home, who have struggled on the road. And let's look at the Lakers right now because they're in the midst of a 4-game road swing, and they haven't won a single game on the road this season. Anthony Davis is a bit banged up. We expect him to play, but his hip injury may keep him out, at which point I think that gives the Rockets a massive advantage. Where they've been so vulnerable over the past few seasons has been inside. So if you take Anthony Davis out of the equation, I'm not going to say they're going to be favored, but it'd be very, very close. Obviously, this spread is only 2.5 points right now, and I'm willing to, not so much say that we want to take Houston on the money line, but if you're feeling bold, even at 228, I don't hate it. I really do think that Houston has a shot to win this game. You can see the spread right now is only 2.5. I think Houston could be favored. As I mentioned, the Lakers have been terrible on the road this season. They're just not playing very well. They are playing good at home. They're very reminiscent of what we saw from Golden State last season, where they could win games at home, but they really struggled on the road. And so for me, the Rockets are in a great spot. They've been at home since literally October 29th, over a whole week, no back-to-back. They're young, they're fresh, they're winning games, they're playing well, they're scoring points, and it's the absolute opposite end for the Lakers, who've just dropped games to Orlando and Miami. They did lose to Denver the first game, and we did have that one pretty easily. They lost to Sacramento again on the road, allowing too many points, but even against Miami, it was close. Orlando, not that close. The only issue I have is the Lakers really need this one. Not to say they need to win the game for their playoff prospects or whatever, but, even last year, it was the narrative that Golden State can't win on the road. And now it's kind of getting to be the narrative that the Lakers are not getting it done on the road. And when are they going to figure it out? And maybe Houston is a get-right spot for them, but to give me 2.5 points, it's a 1-possession game, but I'm willing to bet on Houston here. Take the spread just in case it is really close. But if you want to take the money line, I don't hate it either. I think you're getting tremendous value. See, money is going towards the Lakers right now. We've seen this spread even higher. I've seen it at 3, seen it at 3.5 at times. So it has been pushed down and is clearly being pushed up. So it could be a line that you wait on throughout the day. I still like it at 2.5. I honestly do believe the Rockets can win this game. And if you want to wait, I honestly don't hate that notion and see how this line moves throughout the next, 24 hours or so. But I would be taking the Rockets here. I think it's a great spot. It's just a matter of what that final number is that we're betting, because that's really what's going to make the ultimate determination. So with that being said, let's recap the plays that we have on the docket for this Wednesday slate. We have the Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics going over 227 points. Take that up to 229.5. We have the Brooklyn Nets and the Los Angeles Clippers over 228 points. I also like that game up to 229.5. And we have the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Houston Rockets. I like the Rockets to cover the spread. Right now, the spread is 2.5. I like it till about 1.5 or so. But as I mentioned, it is trending the Lakers' direction. So you could find a 3 or even potentially a 3.5. So those are my picks this week. Good luck, everybody. And as always, bet smart and bet Pinnacle. I will see you guys next week with more picks and bets, and you can follow me on X at @YourBoyJRich. Until next time, good luck this Wednesday with your NBA plays. Comment below if you want to hear some more information about anything, and I'm out. Peace.